Welcome to the Nintendo Rewind. I'm Cody Christian. I'm joined by my co-host, Chris Becker. We're rewinding and recapping last week for Nintendo, but before we dive in, Chris, how was your previous week? What kind of games did you play? What did you do for fun? What kind of snacks did you eat? Was it a good week?
Great question. All great questions. Pretty good. I had a pretty good week. I went ahead and played quite a few games. The last game I played before we went live was Click Holding, which is just a game about you sitting across from someone, sitting in a chair, clicking the mouse over and over again. You got to click 10,000 times.
Is that like a riff on cuckolding? Is that what that is?
Yes, that's exactly what that is.
Click-holding? Yes. Oh my god.
It came out at 8 o'clock tonight. Came out about an hour and a half ago. It's until you click 10,000 times, and then there's like this kind of creepy, sort of disturbing looking figure person sitting across from you talking to you through text, and then you just if you know anything about me, it should be that if you do know anything or want to know anything, it's that I love idle games. I'm a big fan of idle games, of all shapes and sizes, and this is the latest one. It is $2.99 on Steam, on sale for $2.79 right now.
That is something else. Oh my god.
In terms of snacks, I had these gummies that are called like cola gummies, and they're kind of like just little gummies that are shaped like soda. The fascinating thing to me, in my head, the part where there is soda in the gummy tastes different than the part with no soda in the gummy. But I'm fairly certain it's just all in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I've had the off-brand versions of those at like random supermarkets and gas stations, and they always just taste the same through and through. But like the brown part just seems like the better part. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Man, I should have been snacking. I really should have been snacking.
Should have been snacking this week. Yeah, you should have been snacking.
Finally
got my cheeseburger.
Okay.
With on an English muffin with some bacon on it. No egg, but it does have the provolone cheese.
Do you just hate ovums? Is that all it is? Like you just don't want to eat eggs? Like you hate eggs?
No, I just forgot to make the eggs.
Oh, okay, I understand. And that wasn't for breakfast, right? Like that was lunch today.
We were going to eat it for dinner, and then we were going to eat it for lunch, but Vanessa wasn't prepared. She wasn't ready to eat it, so instead I just made some hot dogs. Okay.
I mean, I can get behind that. You got to get a glizzy in there every now and again, too. I'm with you. Mm-hmm. I like a good dog. My kids hate it when I call them dogs, by the way. They're like, we aren't eating dogs. Just the outright, like, disgust on their face when I call them dogs. And I'm like, they're hot dogs. Like, they're dogs.
You can do next time you eat a dog, every time you take a bite, just bark.
No. Listen, we had to have the discussion somewhat recently about the fact that like meat is from animals. That just blew their minds. Like they were like, "What? Meat's from animals?" I was like, "Yeah, you guys love chicken nuggets, right?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I was like, "That's from a chicken, bro." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." And in some countries, they do eat dogs. I followed to tell them, to which the abject horror that came was just hilarious.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they love that.
Oh yeah, it was the best news they could have possibly ever asked for.
So you can tell them that, but you can't bark when you take a bite.
Yeah, I don't need to bring it up every day. Like, it just doesn't need to be that. I mean, we have a dog like every other day.
It doesn't have to be every bite.
I did get yelled at for that, by the way. My wife is reminding me in the live chat here. She yelled at me for that, which but look, they needed to know. I needed to tell them.
Yeah.
But no, it was it's pretty good.
Yeah. Same thing happened with my Dashel. Before Flynn was born, my oldest son Dash, when he was, I was like, she wanted to be a vegetarian, so we were for a little while, but I could only take so much scrambled tofu, especially because I didn't know how to make it properly. She was like, just get some of this tofu, crumble it, put it in a pan, and cook it. And it turns out that's not how you do it. But
no, it's not good enough. You got to marinate that stuff.
You're supposed to like soak it, and I didn't do any of that. She never informed me of this. She was just like, "This is how you do it," and I was like, "This is terrible." But what happened was, she was like, I was like, "I can't do this anymore. I want some buffalo chicken cheesesteaks." So I was like, we decided to let him decide, but her sneaky maneuver was telling him, she's like, just so you know, you gotta like kill chickens if you want to eat this buffalo chicken cheesesteak, because he said he's like, well then kill all the chickens. I was like, well, hold on a minute. Hold on a second, sir. Yeah, so I had to set him down and be like, well, yeah, I mean, it's not very, when you think about it, it's not very good at all. But neither is all of the chickens.
I don't want to bring down the vibes or anything, but man, like in middle school, there was this video that circulated around on the internet. There was just like these little baby chicks going into this grinder, and that just scarred me. I was kind of in the park of wanting to be vegetarian after that as well. I was like, I can't. Those poor babies, they were so cute, and then they were so nugget. And then as I got older, I was like, yeah, nuggets are still cute. So I'm with it. Oh my gosh, kill all the chickens. Oh man! Well, listen, we had a pretty uneventful week here at the old Cody Christian household and fam. I played video games. I played a whole lot of Zenless Zone Zero, which I know you've been messing around in that game as well.
Getting in there.
I do love my waifu simulator. I mean, it's pretty fun. I've got the shark girl. I ended up pulling because you and I were talking about it throughout the weekend. I ended up pulling Shark Boo yesterday as well. So you got Shark Boo a couple of days ago, and I didn't realize how good Shark Boo was going to pair with Ellen in that game, which it's free on iOS devices, PlayStation, PC. You can go play it if you want to play it. Shout out to Zenless Zone Zero. They're not sponsoring this, but I wish they would. But that being said, it's been a really, really solid game. So that's been like most of my gaming time outside of what I've been doing on stream, which is all just mostly Nintendo stuff to begin with. But I did some gaming on that. I haven't played anything today though. I mostly just like watched the back of my eyelids for a little while, trying to like nurse a headache away. It's gone now, but it wasn't earlier, and it was misery. But no, I'm excited for a good show tonight. We've got a lot of news to cover. We've got NSO icons that are out. We've got some in-game events that are happening as usual. Main topic today, we're going to be talking about Nintendo and their lack of wanting to tell people who's making their games, and then even beyond that, their lack of telling people who is working on their games, even in the credits. And then, of course, we go into the main news and upcoming games and dates and Hista-Wii. So it's going to be a really, really good show. But before we dive into that, we do have a voicemail from our other co-host, Josh, who is not with us today. We bring Chris on, and Josh was like, all right, I'm out. No, I'm kidding. He didn't leave. He didn't leave because of Chris. He had a vacation planned. He did? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he did.
He had a vacation plan long ago, and it just was serendipitous that Chris joined us. So, but he did call from Walla Walla, Washington. I'm kidding. It's Anaheim. He is at Disneyland. I'm gonna play the voicemail from him so you guys can hear him out and see what kind of adventures he's on. If I can figure out how to play it. Let's refresh it and let's play it.
Hey guys, I don't know how well you can hear me. I am actually near the front gate of Disneyland in Anaheim, California right now. So you can probably hear some of the band in the background. They just folded the flag, all that good stuff. But yeah, I hate to miss. I really wish I could be on there with you guys tonight. At the same time, I'm very happy to be here. This is a place I've always wanted to go, like my whole life. And I'm glad to have my kid here and my wife. Lily just turned 10 today, so she's having an awesome birthday. I'm just happy we got to work all that out. But you guys have a great episode. I'll try to tell you about Nintendo World and Universal when we get to go there, even though I know they're going to drag me out of it quicker than I want. But I guess there is more park there, from what I hear. But anyhow, you all have a great episode, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.
I really desperately hope that we do not get DMCA struck from the band march that is going on in the background with the banana. But no, Josh is off at Disneyland in Anaheim, California. He's having a good time. Headed to Universal, and then if you guys didn't hear that, today is his daughter Lily's 10th birthday. So happy birthday to Lily. If you guys can, drop that in the chat, drop that in the comments. That way Josh knows that he's appreciated and missed, and that we wish his daughter happy birthday. So it's a good time. We are going to get on with the show, though. Super Nintendo Dad, you ready to take over some My Nintendo news?
I suppose I am.
All
yes.
Right. We'll catch you after this jump. All right, Super Nintendo Dad, take it away, Chris.
Oh my goodness. So we have the NSO icons. We got Wave 3 is available until tomorrow night, and then the final wave comes for Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. And then there are also the Play and Redeem icons, which is I think we might have talked about them. They were on here last week, right? Super Mario related ones.
Yeah, Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels, and then I think there's the regular Super Mario related ones as well.
Like all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to play one of them. All right. So then we also have hold on. What do we got? The Nintendo or Pokemon.
Oh, hang on. You're already going down events. Hang on.
Wait 1 second. I don't see anything else listed on here.
Just you wait. Yeah, it's Pokemon's. Listen. Chris is new here. No one go too hard on him. He's figuring this out. What are the buttons? What did I do with my hands? No, we got some special terror raid battles and mass outbreaks going on in 4 seasonal events, and we also have Splatoon news. But part 1, Search for Pikachu and Friends, is going on right now, and it is live until the 25th of this month, July. So if you want to participate in some of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet raids that are going on in this game, Pikachu with a Mightiest Mark is making its return to 7-star Terra Raid battles, and it is appearing in this event as a Water Terra type. But also there are mass outbreaks of Pichu throughout Paldea, Pikachu and Mimikyu through Kitakami, and Raichu and Alolan Raichu throughout Blueberry Academy. And those two other areas are the DLC areas in the game. So you'll be able to snag those in Kitakami and the Blueberry Academy if you have the DLC. If you just have the base game, enjoy your Pichu outbreaks. And then I didn't play any of the Splatfest, but Super Nintendo Dad, you did. And what team did you end up going with?
I went with one of the losers, the dang amusement parks. Barely lost. I tried to do my best, but I even got a special little badge for winning like a certain number of 10x battles. But yes, they ended up winning. Beach won, sadly. I did play. I forgot how much I enjoy Splatoon 3 until I play Splatoon 3. Like whether it was the Splatoon 3 DLC or this one here. But yeah, I really like the this one with the new season came out, and usually they have new weapons, and I'll play the new weapons and be like, nah, I'm going to stick to the weapons I like. There have been it's like almost like a new sword. It looks like a water, like a
water gun.
It looks like a water gun sword, but yeah, it just works the same way as every other one of those new blades. But yeah, I have been using that, playing that. I ended up getting the masks, which you can get from the news. You go down, scroll down until you find the image for Splatoon. This will probably only be an issue for me, but for I have Nintendo Europe and Japan news on my feed.
Oh no!
Right?
Okay.
So I have to figure out which one is which. The Japanese one's easy to spot because it's in Japanese, but
those are Yoroshiko.
Yes, exactly. Don't click on that one. But yeah, you just click on the one that has the Summer Nights. That's what it's called, the Summer Nights headgear, and you can get those. And I think the coolest thing about the headgear is the fact that you can press the button, just like the hats, where you turn them front or back, wear them front or back, or but instead the mask, you can put them up over your head or in front of your face.
I'm trying to pull up those masks right now. I just
just
Googled and it pulled it over to some sort of Facebook page. But these are the masks that you can get. You've got
those are the masks. Yeah.
Got a couple fishes. You got a couple of emotes. I really hate this like Octoling Squid Kid looking mask. That's horrifying. It's missing its pupils. You got the wolf.
Yeah.
But you can get those things for free if you go and do the thing that Super Nintendo Dad's telling you to do and look at your news segment in English, preferably for our English speaking people.
If you're in America, you pick the U.S. one.
Well, hold on now. Listen, even if you are in America and you speak Japanese, you can look at that one too. But just, whatever your native tongue is, better.
Well, I'm saying if you have a U.S. account, click on that one.
Never mind. My apologies.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Click on that one. Yeah. And then, but yeah, another Splatfest down, another one. This one, at least, I wanted to play. Not necessarily because I was like, oh, I need to fight for amusement parks. I didn't care about that. I just
my allegiance for amusement parks. Walter and his team at Disneyland.
I haven't fought this hard since Patrick in SpongeBob versus Patrick in Splatoon 1. The fact that we have this here with the new season. So that the new season plus the Splatfest and the new weapons, they all got me to go check it out.
Hype.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Splatoon 4 when they got the 4-person team, 4 teams playing and all battling at once.
Yes, dude, that would be really cool, having some quad battles. I honestly, legitimately hope that they don't do that in some ways, because I really do miss the head-to-head. The tricolor battle mode in Splatfests, it's frustrating. It's a frustrating experience, no matter what side of the table that you're on. Like, I really hate it whenever I'm having to defend myself from 2 other teams. But even beyond that, I hate it when I'm trying to take over and I'm one of the other 2 teams that are going against the big people. Like, it's. Oh yeah. I don't know. I just want the head-to-head experience again. I just want the head-to-head experience.
4v4, the first one that they have needs to be Mario or Luigi or Wario or Waluigi. Yes. Those 4 as a 4, and then everyone pick Waluigi just to piss off Mel. Because
listen, I'm a big Waluigi stan. Like, I'm with you. Let's pick Waluigi.
That's right.
Let's throw some Waluigi in the chat there too. We got some Waluigi crying emotes if you're subbed here. So. But no, I'm with you. I don't know. Splatoon, it's one of those games that like I really get an itch to continue playing constantly. I really love the DLC that they added to it. The base game itself is really, really good, but I'm not the biggest online competitive mode player anymore. So like it's one of those things where I kind of steer away unless it's a Splatfest. And that usually gets me mostly hyped, but I'm with you. Fighting like you were fighting for Patrick back in the day, that's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's too good. Yeah. Oh man, we got sales though, don't we? Don't we, Chris? We got sales.
Turns out, we got some sales. You know what? It turns out we do. Let me go ahead, pull down to the sales. We got Prime Day popping off. July 16th and 17th.
So today and tomorrow. So if you're watching this later on YouTube or catching it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it's over. It's over. You just go back home. Don't go to Amazon, the store, and be like, stop hey, give me the stuff.
Yeah, stop looking. What are you doing? Yeah. Also, why are you looking at Amazon Prime while you're listening to this while you're driving?
Right? Just quit it.
Yeah, please knock it off. But yeah, there's quite a few deals, which is interesting that there's like Prime deals, considering the fact that the weird stuff going on between Nintendo and Amazon right now with where they took all of the eShop cards off of the digital cards off their website. They no longer sell them. It's just really weird. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's some deals. I believe it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is like $10 off.
Yeah.
Some of these games, if you want the physical version, because I know there's still some of you freaks out there, I would suggest going ahead, checking out the Prime Day sales.
I'm just holding up my physical video game pile that I've got laying up here. Dude, I'm going to tell you straight up, though, you're not wrong. Like, next Nintendo generation, I'm going completely digital. Like, I can't. I'm so tired of keeping up with... I mean, like, legitimately, I've got 5 of these. These are all cartridges filled to the brim. 5 of these. Like, I'm so done.
I got 1 micro SD card, and even that's full. So you can go ahead and grab, what is it, the 1.5 terabyte for like $80.
Mm-hmm. $87.99 available, and it's a big boy, and that is a good deal. $149.99 retail, $87.99 for the sale price. I also kind of want to point out the Super Mario RPG, which is probably one of the best games that Nintendo's released this year. Which unfortunately it says something about the state of the industry, because like this year it's only been Remake City, so this game came out 30 years ago, but they brought it back out. It's one of the best games released this year, and $39.75 is how much it is. So like you can snag that $20 off right now too. So, and
they released it last year, but besides
was that last year? Has it really been a year? No,
it was like October, November.
Oh my God. Time is flying by. We're in July, dude. Oh my gosh.
We're in July. We're heading, we're about to get the announcement that the Switch 2, get the reveal sometime before the end of the year, and then it'll come out next holiday. Yeah. Everyone's ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's ready for another year of remakes. Remasters.
Don't do me like that. Give me something new. Come on, Nintendo. Come on, Chris. Like you can't talk like that. You're gonna jinx it. They listen to us. You know that, right? They're out there listening and saying, you know what, Chris is right. Let's just do remakes again.
Yeah. You know what? You know what? Ever Oasis, here we come.
No. Oh man. But no, there's a lot of good stuff on here. One of the things that's not listed on this, and I pulled this list from NintendoLife.com. One of the things that's not listed on here that I think is an actually good like controller deal is the Nitro deck. It makes your Switch look like a Steam Deck. It's like a grip with thumb controllers and everything. All included, and it's a battery backup, I believe. I could be wrong on that. But it's like $65 on Amazon right now, Amazon US. So if you're interested, go get yourself some accessories for your Nintendo Switch, and maybe be a freak like me and continue buying your physical video games.
Freaky.
Oh man, that kind of wraps up the news segment there. The around the net in-game events and My Nintendo digital and physical rewards news. That does bring us to our main topic for the day, Emio. So, without any further ado, we're going to take it over to the main topic. We'll catch you over there. Emio, my dude. Chris, did you see that teaser this last week? Did you watch it?
I did. I've seen that trailer about 8 times now. Maybe 12.
Maybe 12?
Maybe 20. I watched it a lot. I was trying to make a video about it, but then I didn't. But I recorded it, so it was just on repeat over and over again. But yeah, so I did see that trailer. How about you? Have you seen it? Have you heard about this?
I looked at it. I'm going to share it with everybody else who maybe hasn't seen it, so they know what we're talking about. Nintendo released this like super creepy trailer this last week. It was the day after our show, and it's for a game called Emio, which this text in the trailer, I mean, it's like 15 seconds long. Hang on one second. If you missed it, I'm going to play it again. It's like 15 seconds long, but the text in that trailer translates to the smiling man. And it was so off-putting. Like, it was mega off-putting. I did not expect to see that at 8 in the morning on Wednesday after we did our show. I was like, why is this happening to us? What is going on? Who is this Nintendo? But the whole thing is they did this whole hashtag, who is Emio, on the internet. And I think there are two things that we're going to talk about during this main topic. The first thing is who is developing Emio, and also why is Nintendo not telling us who is developing anything or crediting the people who did work on their video games appropriately. Kind of a two-parter topic today, but how do you feel about that Emio teaser? Are you excited for that game? Is it going to be something you're going to want to play? I feel like it raises more questions for me than anything, but what about you, Chris?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. My mind started racing about all the different possibilities and how it just looked so good and clean. And I was like, how's that look so good? And then our boy Joe, after work, got in my head. He got in my head. And then I sound like, what's his name? From, yes, shout out Joe after work. Go ahead and follow him.
Yep.
He on twitch.tv/Joe after work, but he was like, I think it is a graphic novel game. And then I was like, one thing that those graphic novel games can do, not only the graphic novel games, but then race car games, because the racing games, hear me out, racing games, they look so good because it's just all boiled down to that track. The novel games also look really good. Another graphic novel games that looked really good were Famicom Detective Club remakes.
Yep. I did really like the way those looked.
And I was trying to. That's why I was looking at that trailer so often, because I was looking at that, comparing it to the trailers for those. And yep, I'm convinced that's who's making it. It is another. I don't know if it's gonna be Famicom Detective Club Part 3, the actual sequel that we never got, that no one ever got, or if it's going to be just another game like that. But I think that's who's making it. The same two people, Toss and Mages, the people that ended up working on it, which was they did Anonymous Code and then the other people that worked on it also worked on, they helped support it with environmental art for Color Splash, everyone's favorite. But they also helped with some actual good games like Splatoon 2. But yeah, what about you? What do you think about this
I don't know,
trailer, and what do you think it is?
There's a couple of things there. I really, it gives me so much, and I don't know why, but it gives me Silent Hill vibes in a lot of ways. And, I kind of want to talk about some of the news that surrounds that also, but just kind of expanding on that before I do. This game is creepy. I mean, it is mega creepy looking. The music, the atmosphere that they're surrounding it with, the close-up shots on Mr. Baghead that is in there, it is kind of genuinely terrifying. And I will say, this Nintendo logo being at the beginning of the trailer and at the very end, lingering on that, it is one of those things that's so just objectively different than anything that you'd normally expect from Nintendo as a developer to put out there. I don't know what to expect. And I'm hoping it's not Famicom Detective Club, because I don't think it will be. It's not anime enough, that whole genre being point and clicky. I don't want it to be a visual novel. I want it to be a survival horror experience. But I think you're probably more right than anything, because I don't know that Nintendo, I mean, they could completely subvert my expectations, but I don't think Nintendo knows how to create an actual horror game. You know what I mean? The closest they get to it is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which, bad game. Let's revisit that. But all that being said, here I am putting out Luigi's Mansion 2 HD slander again. But but I don't expect Nintendo to understand how to harness that. I don't think they have the right developers in-house to be able to do that. And so, there's been some rumors that have been floating around out there about who is working on it, what it's going to be about, what people think. And one of the first things that came to mind was the Bloober Team. And a lot of people were saying, Bloober Team's probably the people who is working on that. There was a code name project that they were working on called Project M. There was the fact that they've done games kind of in that same style with Blair Witch, The Medium, Layers of Fear 1 and 2. But from what I understand, they have had someone come out and straight up deny that Bloober Team doesn't have anything to do with Emio itself, which I think would be interesting if they did. But I think if Bloober Team was the one who was working on this, that lingering on the Nintendo logo at the very end, because they don't do that on any of their like third-party software, even stuff that's exclusive to the Switch. That Nintendo logo lingering at the end, I don't think would have been there if this was specifically like third-party Bloober Team experience on there. Yeah, are you following what I'm saying? Do you agree?
Yeah, and I think it would look worse if it was Bloober Team.
No.
No, so nothing against Bloober Team. Maybe a little something against them, but I just don't think it would look as polished. But then again, there's been plenty of companies that, like I said, I think last week, where Nintendo didn't work with them, and then they put out a game, and it didn't look quite as good. And then Nintendo worked with them, and then they went ahead, and the games they put out were much better than the games they put out without them.
I mean, I agree. I agree with that. I think Bloober Team, they struggle. They are working on, by the way, they are working on a Silent Hill 2 remake, which is kind of what I was talking about, why this kind of gives me that vibe. And that's why I also think people were like thinking that it was them, because it is just kind of very in their wheelhouse, and knowing that they were working on a project. But Bloober Team, they have some cool ideas there. But I'm with you. They don't make a very polished looking game. The Medium was probably one of the better ones that they've done, and it's even still not like up to snuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's not at the level that you would see Nintendo put their name on in a heavy way. So I don't know. I'm excited to see who is working on it, which is what we'll get into here in a moment. But I mean, what do you mentioned to me earlier in the week, which, we've got a private chat. Chris and I, we talk.
Yeah, we've talked before. Yeah.
So, one of the things that he talked about was just like the heaviness and importance of having the Nintendo logo on that. And if nobody had, or my apologies, if they had not put the Nintendo logo on there, nobody would have cared whether or not this game was coming out. It wouldn't have gotten the attention or the attraction. I don't want to dig too much into your take on that, or what you thought about that. Let me open the floor to you. What do you think?
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, because there's not really much there. I mean, it's just a teaser. It would be one thing if it showed, like, sorry, I just saw chat. So Wicked Soul said it's grabbed by the ghoulies too, and then he just ran away. No, they didn't really show much. So the fact that Nintendo put only their logo on there makes you think, oh, this is a Nintendo first party game. Otherwise, they would just put down, if they're not publishing it, they would put down the logo of who was making it. But I think if Nintendo's going to put their logo in front of it, I think it's a Nintendo publishing or a Nintendo IP, even if it is something as small as Famicom Detective Club. I mean, they just renewed the IP so that they could get those two games out, so they might as well keep it running. But yeah.
But I genuinely hope it's not bad. Why? Don't do this.
Yeah, so the fact that Nintendo opens up with the Nintendo Switch logo, and it's they have it on their. The interesting thing is, so I guess it's like rated M because in Japan they have it rated for mature audiences.
What was
I think it's like 13 or something.
What was the context on that? Because there was like some pretty heavy themes there, if I'm remembering right, wasn't it? It was like obviously murder was on the list.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say murder, but like violence. I think they had suicide references. What did they have?
It is violence, cruelty, domestic abuse, suicide themes.
That's that's Doki Doki Literature Club levels of just like, I mean, maybe it is Detective Club. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm with you in the sense that, like, yes, Nintendo's logo matters a lot when it comes to getting attention on a video game. It does, but I think it's even less about Nintendo's logo being on that trailer than it, I mean, like, Nintendo, they put out Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and apart from my co-host Josh, like, the amount of people that like are hyped for that game, beyond hyped, right? Like, and I'm not saying it's not a good game, but the amount of people that are beyond hyped for that game, you can count on like two hands max, you know? I really liked the game, but I didn't get hyped about it necessarily. And so, like, their logo was all over that one as well as Ubisoft's and everything else. I think the thing that really raised eyebrows and made people pay attention to this game more than anything is also coupled with what you're saying, that Nintendo's logo was on there, but it's more so that subversion of expectations. They are the House of Joy. I mean, it's like if Disney legitimately put out like some sort of like slasher flick and had their like logo at the beginning of it. People would pay attention to that, but not because it's Disney necessarily, but because it's such a subversion of like, not Mickey Mouse. That's not Mickey Mouse. Just like, this is not Mario. This is Emio. It's a me Emio instead of it's a me Mario.
Yeah.
And I legitimately think that's the biggest draw for that, is that yes, their logo's there, but it's because it's so different from the stuff that we're used to from Nintendo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think it's a combo of that, but that does bring us into the real side of this, and the stuff that leads us to have the intrigue and ask the questions. You know, who is working on this? Is it Bloober Team? Is it not Bloober Team? They've announced later that it's not, but they won't tell anybody who it is. And that kind of brings us into the next portion of the show here, which is, why won't Nintendo credit their developers or tell us who is working on what well before the game is coming out, whatever game it may be that you're excited for and that you're watching? So Chris, what's your opinion on this? How do you feel about it? Do you wish they would tell you? What do you think is the holdup?
Yeah, of course I would love it if they would tell us. I mean, this happened with Super Mario RPG. Before that, I mean, it happened before that too with like other games that people were wondering like who made it. Like, I think it was like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I think people didn't know who was making it until like it launched, or maybe they did actually. No, I take that back. They did know about that, I think. But that's because that's the Pokemon company. But I mean, if you think about it, because Nintendo releases usually about a game every 5 weeks. So 5 to maybe 7 weeks. They release a game that often. Most of the games that they release are not made by them. They're made by second parties, like companies that they work with a lot. But I mean, like the Paper Mario series, the Mario Sports series, Fire Emblem, they're all made by other companies. Even
Super Smash Bros. Like, that is HAL Laboratories, and that's a lot of like Nintendo founders and different developers that have worked there. But like, Nintendo doesn't own HAL. which is so crazy because they only make games for Nintendo.
And Namco did a lot of the development for Smash Brothers Ultimate too, and it was like some of the people from the Tekken team helped on it. A lot of people wanted to help work on it because Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, yeah, a lot of these games, they're not made by Nintendo themselves. They're made by companies that they might own a portion of it, or even if they don't own them, the other companies will go ahead and work. They'll work in the studio with Nintendo, but technically they're another company, sort of like Mario and Luigi team.
Alpha Dream.
Pour one out for him. That was me kissing my lips.
Kissing my lips.
Kissing the sky. But yeah, because they shut down. So then, of course, the number one question for Mario and Luigi Brothership, hey, Nintendo, who's making this? They shut that down. And this way, they went ahead, ended up going bankrupt. There was a lot of issues with Alpha Dream, of course, but that wasn't a Nintendo company. They got in trouble with the government for not paying overtime, overworking their employees.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happened there. And so now, they said that, hey, you want to know who's making it? We'll tell you. As soon as the credits roll, you can find out who made it.
Yep.
Which just means, a few days before it comes out, people will know because they data mined it. You know, that's all that really means. Or
reviewers with big mouths. That's the other thing. That probably won't get another Nintendo game doing it that way. But hey, 5 seconds of fame, it's worth it.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I would love to know who's making the games, just so I know, and not that it matters, but it is annoying. It feels annoying when they're just like, "Well, it's Nintendo's making. Why does it matter who's making it?" Just because I like to see who it is that is making it, and then if my headcanon with how the game looks fits into who actually is making it, and then I could be like, "Oh yeah, that does look like they would make that." What about you? Do you wish Nintendo would tell us who's making what?
There's a part of me that leans into, I don't care, right? A good game is a good game as long as it is a good game. But I'm kind of with you in the fact that there is something to be said for a company or for a development house to have their name out there saying, I am working on this. This is a thing that we are putting out. And it kind of brings a little bit of a claim. It doesn't necessarily adjust my preconceived notions about what that game is going to be like. For instance, Princess Peach Showtime. It was Goodfill that ended up working on that, right? It was Goodfill that was working on that. And nobody really knew that it was Goodfill until, like you said, 3 days before it released. Developer or data miners had data mined it, and then it was saw on the back of the box, Goodfill credited on the back of the box. And so we can kind of already see that level of polish and that level of detail and that level of understanding how to really work within the specifications of the Nintendo Switch to make a really good looking game. They have that mastered. It was, if they hadn't even announced that it was Goodfill, I think a lot of people probably would have said, hey, that feels like a Goodfill game. But it doesn't matter to me necessarily who is working on it. But I think there's a lot of people that it would matter to, right? For instance, if Emio is being developed by Bloober Team, right? So if we found out Bloober Team was the team that was working on Emio, would you be as excited about that game, knowing their track record with Layers of Fear 1 and 2, with Blair Witch Project, the video game, with The Medium? Is that something that would get you excited? And part of me is not really. They don't have the greatest track record, but that doesn't mean that Nintendo can't wring gold out of the crapshoot that is Bloober Team in some ways.
Yeah.
and that's kind of where I land with it, is that I think Nintendo is somewhat afraid of naming their developers because they don't want people to get those preconceived notions, and they don't want it to affect the sales of XYZ video game. They want those initial sales to be high. And I don't blame them. As a company, it makes complete sense. Like, it is totally like a business move. But as a developer, that is kind of like holding them back in some ways. But I think there's another facet of this that we need to look into from like a security standpoint too. And I don't know if you listen to the Kit and Crystal podcast. Shout outs to them. They worked at Nintendo. They were the people who were creating the Nintendo Minute for a long time. They left Nintendo. They recently had an episode on why they think Nintendo does not announce who is working on their video games. And one of the things they said in their podcast, and it makes sense, it's that they kind of want to keep the focus on them as Nintendo and not the third-party developer, because it can be a security risk. I mean, if you found out XYZ person at Alpha Dream, and you're a part of the media, Alpha Dream is working on Mario and Luigi Brothership. Now, Alpha Dream doesn't exist anymore, as we saw Chris poured one out for them and then gave them a kiss with his lips. But if you found out Alpha Dream was there and you had a contact with Alpha Dream, I mean, it wouldn't take you like 2 seconds to be able to go, hey, how's that development on this video? And then they get bombarded, right? So what this does is it kind of cuts out some of that communication and that middleman from A, accidentally leaking information that Nintendo doesn't want out there, but B, allows the developer to focus on doing their job, which is just developing, and not having to also hire a person to do media, you know? Like, they don't have to worry about that side of it. And I agree with that to an extent, not as a corporate shill, but like as someone who has needed to just focus on the job that I need to do and not having time to deal with all this external crap. Like, it's kind of nice not having to worry about like, oh, I need to do this, this, and this because now I have IGN contacting me, or I have MinMax contacting me, and I get a little more protection in my job from this bigger, gigantic mega corporation known as Nintendo, and it allows me to be able to more effectively do my job. So I think that's a big part of why they are holding a lot of that information back. But do I agree with it? From a standpoint of me as a consumer, and I've talked a lot about like me as a worker, if I were in their shoes, but me as a consumer, I want to make an informed purchase. I do not want to have a repeat of Mario versus Donkey Kong, where I'm paying $60 for a $40 game. Like, I want to know what I'm going in and buying at times. And I think that's why, like, the reveal of who's working on Emio would be good for me as a consumer, because A, I don't buy horror games often, but B, if I know who's working on this horror game, I might be more or less apt to pick this up on release day. Who knows? But at least I get to make an informed choice as a consumer at that point, because I know who's working on my game, not who published it.
Right, yeah. Of course, a lot of these games that are made by other companies are co-developed with Nintendo. Nintendo has a lot of oversight. The game won't get released unless it's approved. I remember there was a deal. What was it? Was it on the GameCube when they had pennant baseball or something with the MLB pennant baseball? Oh
yeah. I'd forgotten about that game.
They had sent it out to reviewers. I think they even sent it out to some stores had it in their back, and then they had to send it back for Nintendo. Mm-hmm. Nintendo called it back, and they canceled the game at the last minute. This was that, but I don't know, that with the MLB, that could have very well been a licensing thing, or they heard that the reviews were going to be under a 70 and they were going to be like in the 6s. MLB might have a deal where you need to make a game that's at least a 70. Who knows what the deal was, but yeah, they went ahead pulled that, and on the GameCube. But a lot of the games that they help develop them. They'll have some, even if it's not a bunch of the Nintendo developers, they'll just have like Nintendo representatives that go there and just go in there and help them make it, and then they're like the middleman between Nintendo and this developer, making sure they get everything that Nintendo wants.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Mario vs. Donkey Kong was $50. But
oh,
still.
My apologies. I stand by my statement still yet, even if I misquote the price.
Yeah, 50 is the new budget price for Nintendo, it turns out.
I guess they went up to 70, you know. It makes sense for their for their 7-year-old console.
4, that'll be 70 as well. But yeah, then the Nintendo World Championship, that's going to be 30. But it's very rare that you see that. Even like games like Sushi Striker was $50 on the Switch.
Yeah.
Which is bananas. I love that game.
That was out on 3DS, like for a significantly cheaper price.
Yeah. Well, it's $40 on there, and
that's significantly cheaper. That's 20%.
And it was I think my favorite version of the game is the 3DS version. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked.
Sushi Striker. The
Sushi Striker. Another kiss to them because they're never getting a sequel. But yeah, never say never. They got Mario and Luigi out here again.
It's true. 9 years later, 11 years later, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh man, there are a couple of good points that are brought up here in the live chat as well. Calamity Nolan says, it doesn't matter for marketing reasons, it matters for industry reasons. It's exploitative to not name developers, and it's been a hard-fought battle to even credit developers within a company that actually makes a game. And he goes on to add, it's not like Nintendo doesn't forbid their contracting companies from speaking to the press anyway. It really doesn't change anything if you know who the actual developers are or not. I agree with that. I agree with that side of it. Yeah, it doesn't change anything if we know who the actual developers are or not. They don't have to hire their media team or whatever, but it does provide one less distraction, I think, from them having people try to hound them without that. And then Wicked Soul says, the real question is, how long has the game been finished? And follows up to say, it's the same team as everybody want to switch. The horse is taking revenge. Oh, no. Let's hope it's not them either. But no, like, you're absolutely right in that, like, I think Nolan is kind of hinting at another part of this, that, like, not only is Nintendo blocking communication about who is working on their games before the game launches. You don't find this out till you roll credits, and some of us may never see credits. I don't know about you, Chris, but I got a backlog like nobody's business. But
I've been known to play the first 20 minutes of a number of games and never finish them.
Yeah. Yep, same. But I mean, even on the back end of that, once you hit credits, there are pieces of information that are still missing. There was an article that came from Game Developer earlier this week where a few localizers had talked with them, and Nolan was kind enough to share that with us as well yesterday, I believe. And these people had worked on stuff like Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Super Mario RPG, and they spent months translating these games. And by the time the game comes out and you see credits, you never see their name. You never see anything except for maybe occasionally the company that they work for, like LocalSoft SL, later, who shows up in the credits for Animal Crossing New Horizons instead of the names of people who actually did the work. So, like, this also creates another issue where you're not only hampering the publication and I'm trying to think of the proper word. The publicization is not the word that I'm going for, but it's the one I'm going to use because that's not a word, but it's now one. But you're stopping the publicization of the company who may be developing your game, but you're also in a lot of ways dwarfing the significance of the amount of work that people who did work on your game and not giving them an opportunity to be able to grow beyond I was a subcontractor on XYZ thing. I mean, that goes from localization teams all the way to like people who are actually working third-party development for these video games. Because like you mentioned, like these games are developed by teams of people. And it's not always just Nintendo, but I mean, even beyond that, it's out there having third-party out-of-house subcontracting development, that some people who work on this, that their livelihood depends on this, and being able to put that on a resume, they can't because they've signed an NDA that forbids them from being able to talk about it for 10 years. And their name doesn't even show up in the credits anyway. So how are they going to say, hey, I worked on Tears of the Kingdom, you should hire me? That's frustrating. And it's something that Nintendo does need to change. Does it matter to me? Yes, as a consumer, it matters to me. Does it matter to the company? As a company, it maybe shouldn't, other than cutting out some of the problematic things that can happen outside of that, with having leaks and all the other stuff that they've tried to crack down on the past couple of years anyway. But does it matter for the individuals who are working on that and pouring their blood, sweat, and tears? I'd say absolutely it does, and they would benefit from being able to talk about that and actually put that on a resume and actually be able to say, hey, I proudly worked on this. Can you imagine the amount of pride you'd have if your name was in the middle of if Chris Becker showed up in the middle of a developer list of credits there? So I don't know. Yeah. Oh man, that was, I got a little bit worked up there for a moment. I need to come down from that, because it is something that I think passionately we need to be advocates for the developers. And I mean, even if they want to wait until after the game releases, at least put everyone who worked on it in the credits. There's nothing stop. It's not going to cost you any more to put their name in the credits. I think we can both agree on that, right, Chris?
Yeah, exactly. And especially with the way Nintendo, Calamity Nolan mentioned about Atari had the same thing with not crediting the actual developers, and they were not. That was in 1980, and they were doing it because they didn't want their developers sniped and taken from them. Now, Nintendo does have a good, really high
retention rate.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they don't want them to get. But at the same time, also, there have been reports of people, especially like in America, like people that worked as like. They would have a lot of people as contractors and hold them up to the last day that they can have them, and then once they no longer can keep them anymore, they drop them all and then just either get new people and then cycle those old people back in afterwards. But yeah, the way they get around not having to hire the people is pretty bad. Absolutely.
Well, that kind of wraps up the main topic. We've said a lot, pretty much, summarizing. Nintendo, maybe you should start telling people who's working on your stuff, even if you got to wait until the end. Just make sure you credit the people who are working on it. And maybe for consumers' peace of mind, let me know who's working on Emio. Well, I might make a decision on whether or not I buy it that way. What do you say, Chris?
I believe I already told you. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. It is Famicom Detective Club, and it's being developed by
Mages and Toast.
Well, that does bring us into the second half of the show. We're going to be getting into our extra Nintendo news with some more crediting news. So hang tight. This also coming from Nintendo Life. NES Remix Dev is reportedly involved with Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. One of the things that Josh and I talked about when they originally did the reveal on this, which, by the way, the transition there, it's with me and Chris, not Josh and I. So apologies. I will get that fixed eventually. But one of the things that we talked about was we wanted a port of NES Remix to the Nintendo Switch, and we're kind of getting it with Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. It was rumored that there were some people that were working on it from the NES Remix to an Ultimate NES Remix team. And then it's basically been confirmed from a data miner named Yakumono over on Twitter X, saying can't play the game, but Nintendo World Championship NES Edition can be preloaded and has a 1.1.0 update already day one. It is indeed developed by Nintendo and Indies Zero, which I didn't know who Indies Zero was exactly, and then Chris ended up telling me who is Indies Zero. What have they worked on? Why should we know them?
Please. There's a number of reasons you should know them. They helped. We're talking about a number of games, including Electroplankton back in the day. But then, yeah, they did help with the NES Remix, but that's neither here nor there because they helped. And they made Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy, Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy Curtain Call. They did Theater Rhythm Dragon Quest, a game which I imported a Japanese 3DS and got to play that game. They also made Sushi Striker the way of the Sushido.
Shout out to him again. It was earlier in the show. Now it's here again.
Back again. Game of the show. But yeah, they helped make those games. A lot of rhythm games, and then the remakes, NES Remix, and now they're helping with this. So it says they're helping, but I don't know. I feel like they did most of the work on those games.
Yeah.
And Nintendo kind of supplied all of the sprites that they needed, anything that they needed. They gave the approval on everything. But I guess they enjoyed working with Nintendo because they keep doing it. So this right here, they just listed them as a part of the news because it didn't they're not able to look at the credits yet.
Right.
Until Thursday or Wednesday night, I suppose. But I'm excited. I was going to play the game anyway.
Yeah.
I figured this is who made it, and this just kind of confirms the assumption. And then another thing where they just don't want to tell anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might have impacted your decision to pick up who knows, but Nintendo, get your act together. I do think it's interesting. One other note that Yakumono makes here is the code name is Fake, quote FAKE, Fake, and it uses Nerd's NES emulator, not my NES emulator, but like the development team that did the NES emulator for the NES Mini, and then what they carried over into the infrastructure for Nintendo Switch Online's NES emulation as well. So I don't know, that's pretty cool news. I think that's gonna be really, really neat. I'm excited for it. I'm with you. I'm gonna be playing this day one, provided I ordered the $60 version of this game, so I'm hoping it comes in on Thursday. And that being said, it'll be good. It'll be good. I did forget one section of the show. We'll come back to it after we finish up the news. Okay, Chris?
Okay.
Because we had something new that we needed to talk about, and then I forgot about it because I got passionately involved. I know, right? Then we go into ESRB information, and let me just say, I am a huge advocate for Zelda having her own game, be all about Zelda. But the rating summary on ESRB for Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, the Zelda-fronted Zelda game, the actual Legend of Zelda, says this is an adventure game in which players assume the role of Zelda as she attempts to dispel rifts through Hyrule and rescue Link. Okay, we knew that. That was information we already knew. From a 3/4 overhead perspective, players explore various environments while fighting stylized enemies. Okay, again, we knew that. That's nothing new. It's totally fine. As Link, what? Players use a sword and arrows to defeat enemies. Zelda can use her magic wand to summon creatures, wind up knights, pig soldiers, slime for battle. Some enemies can be defeated by being set on fire. Other creatures dissolve into mist when defeated in battle. Battle sequences are somewhat frenetic, with several enemies attacking and fighting at once. Rated E for everyone, E10 plus, fantasy violence, no interactive elements. Why can Zelda not get her own game? Like, why does Link need to be playable in this? Chris, explain to the people what your thoughts are on how this game is going to play out at this point, because I thought we were going to be Zelda the whole time.
Right, yeah. I mean, I feel like they showed it in the trailer. They showed us they showed Zelda in there, she was held captive. Link was coming to get her. I mean, watch, someday we'll get like the prequel to this game, and it just shows Link fighting up to that point. But yeah, we play as Link. He gets captured, and once he's captured, in the little black pit that he gets sucked into, he's gone. I think he'll be gone until the end of the game. Maybe you'll make a copy of them, sort of like, well, I don't.
So you get an echo of Link.
You get an echo of Link, then he pops down, he uses a sword. It's definitely going to be a lot like the other Zelda games, where like or like a Metroid game, you start off really powerful, you have all this equipment, and then boom, all of a sudden, you're just Zelda running around. You're probably going to run around for a while before you get your wand, and then you get the wand, and then bada bing, bada bang, badaow, you play the whole game and rescue our boy Link.
I'm with you. I think I kind of agree with that take. I think personally, what I think is going to happen now, knowing that you're playing as Link, I think it's going to open as Link. I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to show up at the castle. He's going to get captured. And then it's going to have that switch effect where it's trying to subvert your expectations, what you're playing right then and there. And you're going to be playing as Zelda the whole time as a gigantic interstitial. And then I think you will probably rescue Link, I'm going to say 3/4 through, and then use what Nettist in the live chat here is saying, partner switching mechanics. Use partner switching mechanics to play as both Link and Zelda in the last quarter of the game. Because I'm going to tell you, like, when I saw the gameplay footage for this game, and I know everybody's really excited, and I don't mean to poo-poo on anyone's parade. I think everyone has a good reason to be excited. It seems like something that's going to be really neat. I'm excited for Zelda to have a game where you play as Zelda actually for once, instead of just Cadence of Hyrule, but like a mainline Zelda game where you play as Zelda. But like the combat in this looked so tedious, and having to summon rocks to throw at people, or having to summon chairs to escape from enemies. Like I did not necessarily want that, and I'm afraid that like as you get closer toward the end of that game, especially unless they smartly do their boss design, which they typically do. Ian Newman knows what he's doing. But like, unless they smartly did their boss design, I feel like the last quarter of that game would be a gigantic slog to get through. So allowing you to play as a person with sword and bows and arrows would be something that is going to be very beneficial. But I like the idea of having a team up, and I think that's a neat concept too. But can we just get Zelda her own game already and not have to focus it on being Link and actually make her powerful? Give her a gun, as Emperor Gumbessa says on here. So give her a gun, E10 plus, murder. Oh man, domestic violence, all that jazz. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. On a more somber note, Reggie Fils-Aimé posted on the 11th this last week, the real goat of gaming, Satoru Iwata, December 6, 1959 to July 11th, 2015. Rest in peace, with an image of a custom amiibo of Satoru Iwata with wings and a cappy hat and the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield, Pokeball, 1-Up Mushroom, and all that jazz. Honestly, I think we do need to pay him a lot of respects. He was... the thing that I would say about Satoru Iwata, I mean, I've got his book. It sits on my back shelf right here. Iwata Asks. It's a collection of writings from his time writing into Famitsu magazine. But he was a visionary for the gaming industry and made a lot of the achievements that I think Nintendo can claim. Made them Nintendo. And I do miss the Iwata era. You know, we have a very different Nintendo company today than we had with Iwata. And I don't know that I would necessarily say it's better. It's different. But I do really, really like Reggie Fils-Aimé remembering his friend Satoru Iwata, and so we need to pay attention and give him the flowers that he deserves. So, Chris, do you have a favorite Iwata moment? My personal one is when he does this.
Yeah. When it directly to you. Yeah, I like that, and I just really liked the Iwata Asks, and like the fact that they would like tell stories that, you know, not only would they tell stories, but they were finally given the chance to tell these stories that they wouldn't normally give. Yeah, I just really like that.
There was a good quirkiness about Iwata, and he was a gamer first, developer second, and businessman third. You know, and I think that was the big thing. I really missed that era of Nintendo. So remembering him. Final news piece here we are going to talk about tonight is the Nintendo magazine. They normally sell these in their, or not sell these, my apologies, give these away in their stores. But they made this available in English. This is the summer edition of Nintendo magazine with probably one of the best renders I've ever seen of Luigi ever in my life. It's so good. It's crispy. It's clean. But I will tell the people, this is not a Nintendo Power by any means. This is more like a 56-page ad for all the various different games. And I mean, there's some cool advertisement in here. But I genuinely would love to see a return of Nintendo Power in more of a way than this. But you know, I can't complain. This is 56 pages of free content that you can view online. Just go Google that. Go Google it.
Yeah.
Have you looked through this?
It looks like some of the pages look like these would be Nintendo, like the instruction manuals if they were still making instruction manuals today. Yeah, I like what they did with it, and I just like the way it looks. Something about like the Pikmin in the real world, and then like all the little I don't know what's the word, Chotskis, just all the little doodads, and I don't have any room for any of them, but I want them all.
Dude, out of this magazine, I wish I lived where this controller button collection thing is. And all of these things are only available at Nintendo Tokyo, Nintendo Osaka, and Nintendo Kyoto. It's not available. As far as I know, these things are not available at Nintendo of America, or Nintendo New York, rather. Not Nintendo of America. Totally different place. But I don't know, like there's some cool stuff in here, and it just makes me want to go there. And just buy the gotchas. I absolutely want to get the gotchas. But I did like they did have like a cool segment here, the Indie World News segment, which highlighted Batobird, but also the Exit 8. This was a super popular game in Japan. It was one of the best selling games on Steam for the Japanese region for a very, very long time. And I didn't even know it was on Switch or coming to Switch. Did you know about this? Like, I didn't know it was there.
Yeah, it's out now. Actually, that the Bird game was at the last Nintendo Direct. That the one that was next to Exit 8. But yeah, it was. It's coming soon to the Nintendo Switch. That would explain why that's there. But then, yeah, Exit 8 just came out. Maybe 3-4 weeks ago, maybe. But yeah, it's real popular. Actually, the Nintendo Drive, they just did like a stream where they shout out to Nintendo Drive TV on Twitch, or watch them over there on YouTube. But yeah, they did like the three hosts of the Nintendo Drive, they were doing races to see who could beat Exit 8 fastest.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty funny. That is awesome. But no, there are also some wallpapers that are available too. There is that render of Luigi. He may become my iPhone wallpaper for a little bit here. But you can also get the Booze and Polterpup in there as well. And these are honestly a lot cleaner. And you don't have to spend any platinum points on them. They're free if you just go to the link and you click more there. So that is exciting. That is it for the extra Nintendo news segment. I do want to flash back a little bit in the episode with a news segment that we are adding here. And an announcement of a thing that we are doing here on the show. And that is memberships. I do want to thank a couple of people here, but before I do that, just to let you guys know, we did launch membership pages on our website at nintendorewind.com. And again, that is nintendorewind.com. If you don't know what that means is you can sign up to directly support our content, guide what we're discussing, and get exclusive videos that won't be uploaded to our YouTube channel. Hint, Super Nintendo and I may be doing some competition in NES Remix. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean Nintendo World Championships NES edition coming out this weekend. But you also get merch discounts, and there is even a tier that only costs $1 a month, and with it you get a shout out on our show as well. That said, I do want to thank our members this week: Calamity Nolan for signing up for the Rewinder tier, and my sister Sierra Christian signing up. If you'd like to support the show in a more direct way, you can sign up now at nintendorewind.com. Every bit of support you give, no matter what tier, is helpful, and we're super thankful for that. And alternatively, if you're watching live, you can type !member in our chat, and it will provide a link. There are also links that will be available in the YouTube description below. So thank you so much, Calamity Nolan. Thank you, Sierra Christian, for supporting the show and keeping the lights on. We're gonna get Josh that tripod finally, so he needs it instead of setting it up on Lego boxes. Without any further ado, though, we're gonna jump into the new games section, sponsored by Super Nintendo.
Okay.
All right, we're here. Oh, it's so loud. All right, tell the people about the games that came out.
Oh my goodness, please. Okay. So, the GBA, right after we did the show last week, spoiler warning, the game was Starfy on the Game Boy Advance.
The legendary Starfy. And I wasn't even right on that. I mixed up the dates. Calamity Nolan pointed it out and was like, hey, you're really bad at it. And then he also said, I didn't even get my points. And he was like, you should stop. He didn't say that, but that's how I took it.
That's what you said in your heart.
Yep.
But yeah, they went ahead and they heard you talk about it, and so that's what they did. It was like Beetlejuice. They just popped up with Starfy 1, 2, and 3. The Japanese versions, they only came out in Japan, so they're all in Japanese, but they're very simple and easy to understand, so you can still play them the way that they are. Did you get a chance to play any of these? I
haven't. I've been wanting to boot these up, but I've been so sucked into Zenless Zone Zero, I haven't even made time for this. But I am going to play this, most likely on stream at some point, because I mean they look adorable. They look like, I mean, it was said last week, but they look like Kirby games. But Densetsu no Starfy 1, 2, and 3 look amazing, and I just want to give them a shot. Like, the pixel art's pretty. They've done some pretty cool things. I mean, that 3D effect kind of blows me away that happened on GBA, but like it looks cute. Did you play them? I'm sure you did.
I played, the beginning of each of them.
The first 20 minutes, just like
yeah, it was about 20 minutes.
We're never gonna roll credits to find out who developed these games.
Yeah, we're never gonna know. Don't come to us for that news. Well, we'll find out a week later because someone else will post about it.
Yeah, it's true.
But in terms of beating them, I don't think I'll ever do that. But I will definitely play some more of them. I don't know how much. I mean, I know my friend Mel. Shout out to Mel. She needs a name. She went ahead and told me there's no way I'm gonna play through the Golden Sun games again when they come to NSO. I was like, I'm playing through both of them. Maybe I'll even play through the one on the DS. And I'm about 30 minutes into it. I haven't played much more after that.
The game's so good too. Like, I do love Golden Sun. It is a golden era RPG. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Plus, I love the way those games look. I love like the look of those games. How like big and blocky they are.
Shout out Camelot.
Shout out to Camelot, the old Camelot, before they got turned into a sports company.
Yep. The sports only.
Sporting, yeah. Oh, vey.
Wake up! But yeah. It's free to play with NSO Plus expansion membership right now.
Please
go play it.
Wake up and play it. But if you want to spend some money, by golly, don't let me stop you, because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Splintered Fate is coming on July 17th for $29.99 as a Switch console launch exclusive, because it was already a part of Apple Arcade, and it is basically Turtles. Hades meets Ninja Turtles, is what it is. They announced that it was going to have couch co-op. The description says it has couch co-op and online multiplayer, like you were pointing out before the show, just like the Apple Arcade game was online multiplayer, so it would make sense. And then they just put a Steam page up, so they got that up there. So it is coming to other stuff this holiday, like I think October, November. So that will be coming out, but it is definitely a game I want to play. I haven't played it, or I haven't gotten it yet.
Have you tried it on Apple Arcade?
I played it on Apple Arcade, yeah, but I haven't gotten it on the Switch because of the next game, which is Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. Also $29.99, comes out the following day. It is Nintendo running around playing through a number of Nintendo games. You want to go ahead and try and it's like a speedrunner's dream, basically. By golly, this is the game for, turns out, you and Nolan, if he wanted to play it, but
it's for us.
In the mood. He would rather not. And it's definitely a game I will be playing. But you got the big old collector's edition, right? I
did. I'm hoping Best Buy sends it out. I got it through Best Buy. I've never ordered a physical collector's through Best Buy ever, because I worked at a retailer that shall not be named for a long time, and was able to get them there, except for whenever Nintendo took them away from us and then sold them exclusively through our website for a long time there. But I'm excited for it. I think this game's going to be really good. I plan on playing it day one. TMNT Splintered Fates, I'm probably going to hold off on getting it on the Switch, because I do have an Apple Arcade membership, and it's the same dang thing. And I don't know if I have anybody who's going to want to play it with me bad enough on the Nintendo Switch to justify spending $30 on it whenever I have access to it for free with my membership on Apple Arcade. But NES edition? Oh, there we go. Maybe I have to buy it. Hello? I'm sorry, my bad.
Sit right here. Please. You're going to look me in the eyes? You're going to look me in my half-open eyes and tell me
oh, man.
You don't think you know anyone that would play this with you?
Who would play this game with me? But it is available. They don't have this available on the Nintendo website for you to buy just yet, and it says releases 7/18 still yet, same as the date for the digital version. So if you want the physical version of that game, you're gonna have to wait until the day it releases and hope that you're able to get it through Nintendo if you didn't purchase it through a different retailer already. So
yeah. And then this one here I played on stream and then off stream, which
breaking street day.
Well, I broke break the street date, but I didn't break embargo. Just for the record, I played it after the embargo. If anyone's listening, I don't even know how to. What is it? Shim?
I think it's Shim. I'm gonna call it Shim. At first I called it Skahim, but I was like, that's not right.
Skahim, Skahim, click holding. They're all these names. But yeah, Shim is a game where you play as this little shadow creature. You're connected to a human, and then you're following throughout his life. Something terrible happens. This is all in the first minute or two.
Spoilers.
Yeah. And then you get separated from your human, and then it's just going through puzzles, level real world puzzles, where you need to stay in the shadows, and go ahead and move from one end to the other, trying to get back to your human. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun playing it. So I got it on a code for it on Steam. I played it on there, but I have talked to a number of people that have it on the Switch, and they said that there was no performance issues. So there's that. And then on Monday, right, the 22nd, we got the new Denpa Men. Shout out to the Denpa Men. They released some great games on the 3DS. I played a bunch of them over and over again. It's a lot like
Miitopia. Yeah, it kind of gives me some Miitopia vibes. Miitomo as well, I think, or Tomodachi. That's what I meant, not Miitomo.
Yeah.
This game is weird. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's free to play. Like, you can play it. You can absolutely play it for free, and it not cost you a dime. But man, that is a game to look at. Like, I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. Well, on the 3DS, it used the camera, and like they were like, these Denpa Men were hidden in the real world, and you had to find them with your camera. They would just randomly appear, and it would, like, your 3DS would notify you that there was someone nearby, and you would just move the camera around and search for it, right? And then once you find one, boom, you go ahead, you just, like, you get it, you capture it, and shoot it, and then boom, they're in your party, and then you go through like little towns, and it's like turn-based RPGs. So
it's ugly. I can't. I don't know. Like, it is multiplayer too, is what they said. You can team up with your friends. I think they said up to 6 friends. It gives me like ugly Animal Crossing vibes. Like, I don't know. It's a JRPG cozy simulator, I guess. Again, don't get people started on cozy games, but I don't know. Pick it up Monday.
It's free for crying out loud. It's free. Pick it
free
up.
Play July 22nd.
Yeah.
Go buy
good tasting games.
Go buy the thing with
good.
no money. Free money. They don't have a store page listed for this just yet.
No.
Either. So
I don't have a store page, but it will be. There's a number of games that don't get store pages until the day it comes out. But yeah, they don't have it. And then final game comes out 1 week from today on the 23rd from Team 17, Conscript, which is I don't like the key art for the game, I'll tell you that much. I don't like the key art, but I do like the way the game looks. It's up on the eShop, Conscript, CONSCRIPT, if anyone wants to check it out. But yeah, it is kind of like, I think I told you about this ahead of time. It is top down. It sort of looks like a Game Boy Advance game, with the graphics, like reminds me of like Tony Hawk, really pixelated. The Wicked Soul told me about this game today while I was playing something else, and he told me about it, and then I was like, oh yes. So I went ahead and I was like, maybe I do need to play this game.
Conscript, an upcoming survival horror game inspired by classics of the genre, set in 1916 during the Great War. What made it so great? Conscript will blend all the punishing mechanics of older horror games into a cohesive, tense, and unique experience. You play as a French soldier, well, the Brits are out on that, they don't want to be French, searching for his missing in-action brother during the Battle of Verdun. You'll be able to search twisted trenches, navigate overrun forts, and cross no man's land to find him and ensure a home goes unbroken. I didn't even know anything. I really probably should have put this in the doc. So
yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's no trailer in the eShop, but I don't know if that's because it's rated M. I don't think M-rated games have screen trailers.
I think they have in the past. We've done a couple of games. I can't remember any of the names of them, but we've done a couple of games that have M ratings that still get trailers on here. But that's interesting. At $21.99 too. $21.99.
Yeah, it's a really weird price.
That's a strange price. Less than $25, more than $20. That's what I'm going to start putting on my eShop listings. Less than $25, more than $20. That's the price point. Oh man, I don't know. It's a pretty good games lineup this week. It didn't leave me disappointed like next week probably will. So if you want that comes out actually the 23rd. We're talking about that a day earlier than we're supposed to, but that's okay.
That'll be a week from today.
That will be a week from today. So pick up Conscript.
That'll be the 23rd. Yeah.
The next day we're live, you could be playing this. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. You could
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Without any further ado, we're going to go to the last segment of the show, and that is History. Hang tight. Welcome to the part of the show that we call Histo-We. In this segment, my co-host Chris, not Josh, Chris, must try to guess a game that was released within the past week, but years ago, based on a trivia question, a screenshot, a random sound effect, or song from the game. Chris, as my resident nostalgia nerd tonight, do you feel like you have what it takes to guess this game?
I just hope I don't let Josh down. I just hope I don't let him down.
I'm just going to reset the rewind points real quick, because they're not going to be in there anymore. They're just going to all be gone. Double or nothing.
I know. I'll be like, that's payback for Josh for Cody letting Josh win when it should have been me.
Yeah, there have been times. There have been times. Absolutely. Well, listen, audience, I'll ask if you're watching this live, please feel free to put your guesses in the live chat. And if you get it right, maybe I'll remember to call you out. Apologies to Calamity Nolan for last week. But if you're watching this later at home, make sure to pop it into the comments. We'll send Chris with a special snack made of bagels and cheeseburger and no eggs, and bring it to your house. So that way you can eat it in the morning or at dinner time or maybe for lunch. Maybe he'll just bring you a hot dog, just a glizzy.
Just have a hot dog, eat it during the show.
That'll be your prize.
Okay.
That'll be your prize. But we're gonna get on here. I'm gonna read the first clue off to you, my good sir. First clue is this: July 16th, 2011. This is the first spin-off title for this series and only hit Japanese shelves. 11 titles have launched since the US scored a new release in this franchise.
Okay.
There are 11 titles in this franchise, and we've only seen one of them in America land. Okay?
Okay.
Are you ready for your next clue?
I'm ready.
All right. Next clue coming at you right now in a private message. And then I'm going to reveal it for those at home. This is your next clue. Can you describe for the people what you're seeing, my good sir?
I'm seeing HP. I'm seeing time left. Player, computer. Looks to me like something Kirby related. Yeah.
What else is in there? What other things?
There's a car in the
there
background. There's a car. It almost looks like a safari car with like a rack up top.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I think it looks like a safari car with a rack on top. It's got a nice rack up there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to send you, speaking of listen, I'm going to send you your third clue, and then I'm going to play the third clue for those at home. Third clue is coming at you right now. Let me pull down the theme song here, and then let me play that third clue. This is very long. How are you feeling? Do you feel like you have any clue as to what's going on with this video game? What is this game?
So you're saying 11 more came out?
11 total titles have launched. And we've only gotten one of them.
We've only gotten one?
Mm-hmm. The U.S. has only seen one of them in this franchise. One full release.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? This is... I'm going to give Josh a call.
Okay.
See what he thinks.
Okay, let's get your lifeline in on here.
Yeah, let me get... he's having dinner with Mickey Mouse.
I'll call him right now, live on the show. We'll get you a lifeline here. Let me pull it up. Let's see if he answers. I'm gonna call him. Call. Here we go. Stop ringing.
Hello?
Hello, Josh. It's your co-hosts calling you live on the show. How are you?
Not bad, not bad.
Listen, Chris needs a lifeline here for Histowee. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let me pull down the music for the actual show here. July 16th, 2011. This is the final spin-off title for this series and only hit Japanese shelves. 11 titles have launched since the US scored a new release in this franchise.
Wait, it was only in Japan?
Well, we've gotten one of them.
Spin-off, okay. Anything else?
Yes, there is a clue, and the clue is that it is a blue truck, and there is health points up at the top. It's the visual clue. It says player 1 and computers, and has 23 seconds left. And then there was an audio clue, but I don't think it'll help you.
What did you do to him?
I ruined him. Do you have a guess to help him?
Big Rigs Double Dash. I have no clue.
All right. Well, we'll see if that helped him out. Thank you for answering.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a line here.
Enjoy your line. Continue Disneyland. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye, buddy.
Sorry. Bye.
All right. Do you have a guess, my good sir?
I do not. Let me see. Do I have a guess? If I had to guess, I would say it. You know, we only have one of these.
We've only had one of these in America. Yeah. One of the 11.
One of the 11. I'm going to say, yeah, I guess I gotta hurry up and answer because we don't have all night. But I will. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Starfy. The
legendary Starfy, locking that answer in. All right, here we go to the grand reveal. And that is Inazuma 11 Strikers. So, here's the thing. That game came out July 16th, 2011 for Nintendo Wii. This particular one. We have seen one of these in America so far. And I tried my best. I tried my best to make sure that I could that I could stump you just a little bit, Super Nintendo. So I apologize first and foremost for being so mean. But just to give you some information on Inazuma 11 Strikers, it is a 2011 role-playing and sports video game developed by Level 5, an entry to the Inazuma 11 series. It was released for the Wii. The very first one in this series is the one that we got, and this was Inazuma 11, released in 2008 for the Nintendo DS. That was the one that we got. But since then, there have been 10 more since that very first one, which was the only one that we got here in America. And coming up soon, out of the 12th one entry in this Inazuma 11 franchise, we are going to be seeing Inazuma 11 Victory Road, that will actually be making its way to Nintendo Switch consoles, and you can play a beta right now on your Nintendo Switch. Have you played Inazuma 11, Super Nintendo?
Yes, I have, and I've played the new beta. And the reason I was so confused is because Inazuma 11 is published by Level 5, the new one. Like they released it in America on the DS, like a downloadable game. It was like a downloadable, and then they planned on releasing all the other ones. It was on the I think the 3DS, but it was a re-release of the GBA game, and but it was only in digital form. And then it came out here, and now we're getting this. It's coming to PS5, PS4, Switch, and Steam. And I played maybe, I think so far that since the demo's been out, about 20 hours of it. It's probably been one of my favorite games of the year. But yeah, I imported a number of these because they only came out in Japan. And I can't believe I didn't know.
So many people in the live chat are asking why there was a train. Why there was a car. Doesn't explain why it looks like Smash Bros.
That's because it's like, so while you're playing, if you're watching the live show or the video, you will see the different cutscenes that they go into. And a lot of times there's like a story going on, and in between the matches where they're playing in stadiums, they're playing in like in junkyards and just in playgrounds, and there might be a truck or a train in the background because that's just parked there and they're playing near there, and so then you would see that with the cutscenes.
I'm gonna swap to a different scene here really quickly, and just kind of show you guys what that screenshot is from. It's from this, where player one and the computer player are fleeing, trying to pull a truck behind them. So they're building up strength to try to make it. But that's I don't know why they have health points. I can't explain anything about this game. It's just very Japanese soccer games.
It is. They have health points because you gain experience points. You level up. You do all the things that you would do in a JRPG, but do it while playing soccer. And the demo that they had a multiplayer demo and then the single player demo. The single player demo, you go around school. There's like a kid that wants to be your friend, but you don't want to be his friend. So you have to play him in a fight. And then if you beat him, you get experience points. If you lose, you don't get experience points, and he gets closer emotionally to you. And so what happens is, instead of like punching him, you do things to be like, he'll go to like give you a high five, and then you just like turn your head and act like you don't see it, and he like whiffs and falls on the ground, and do things like that. So it's like real situational with that. But yeah, Inazuma 11, I love it. I'm really annoyed that I didn't get it, especially because it's
It's one of those games. It's one of those games you like.
Yeah.
Listen, I tried so hard to give you every clue I could. It's been 11 games, which is true first and foremost, but also kind of ironic. Yeah. It's been 11 games since the U.S. scored a new one in this series. So I tried so hard. Yeah. I knew you were an Inazuma 11 guy. I knew it.
You didn't mention that most of these games are not published by Nintendo.
Most of the games we talk about aren't published, but most of Nintendo games aren't.
You said on this day on Nintendo.
Isn't Nintendo that what history? But who's judging anyway? You totally can. Listen, you flunked. You got 0 points for rewind points this week. So hey. Yeah. That wraps up this episode of Nintendo Rewind. Chris, can you tell us where they can find you on the internet?
Okay, yeah. So you can go ahead and find me at Super Nintendad on pretty much everything. I think I got a link tree, Super Nintendad, and you can find me on there. I'm on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You can find me all those places. Yeah, you know what? Next week we're gonna get it right. And then if we get 3 of them right in a row, guess what? Great news, everyone. Cody's going to bring back Bean Boozled. He's going to bring it back.
I mean, I still have them chilling here. I mean, I could dig the jar out. We could do some Bean Boozled on stream. I'll let you spend your rewind points for Bean Boozled. That'd be totally fine. That'd be totally fine. Oh my gosh. Well, listen, before I eat beans, let me tell you where you guys can find me. For everything me, go to nerdwireplays.com. You'll be able to find all my links to all my social media posts and everything. I mostly post over on Threads at Nerdwire Plays, and you can also visit my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/NerdWirePlays, where I'm live just about every weeknight of the week. One other thing here that I do want to share with you guys, we have some merch. We have some merch that you guys can pick up over at NintendoRewind.com. If you haven't been over there, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff that is available. And if you're a member, you get 10 to 15% off, depending on what tier you sign up for. And you can snag a cool thing like this hat, or this shirt, or this cool embroidered tie-dye tee, maybe even a bucket hat that's two-tone denim. I love these cups. But go and spend some money, help support your boys, and then finally, you can catch all of our past episodes in video form over at youtube.com/@the-Nintendo-Rewind. Visit our site for all of our social media pages at nintendorewind.com, and consider supporting the show through memberships on our site. We greatly appreciate that, where you'll get bonus content available only there and discounts on the merch, like I just said. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, you can catch us live on Tuesdays, 9:30 p.m. right here on Twitch. We love your faces, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Bye.